Hi everybody, welcome to the Lexus Virtual Classroom here at Northside and Westside Lexus in Houston, Texas. Today we're taking a deep dive into the 2021 Lexus LS. If you're familiar with the Lexus Virtual Classroom and our full tutorials, you'll know that we have an index in the description below the video. So just click Show More and then look down at the timestamped index. You can click on the timestamp for a feature that you'd like to explore and just jump straight to it. Or you can watch the video straight through, whatever you prefer. But if you have a question that comes up for you on your vehicle, make sure to leave a comment below and I will get back to you. Since many of the features from last year's model carry over, you're going to see footage from 2020 model LS and the 2021. With all the changes for the 2021 model year LS, my top 5 picks are: Number 1, the reconfigured dash, bringing the screen closer to the driver compared to being deep set in the dash as it was in the previous years, which takes me to my number 2 pick, the touchscreen capability on the new LS. In third place, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are now standard equipment. We had Apple CarPlay last year. With the addition of Android Auto on the new Gen 11 system, it's much more versatile. Number 4 is a button that I really wish they had from the very beginning of this new layout. A shortcut for seating and steering climate control right by the touchpad and the other seat adjustment button. And number 5 is the optional digital rear view mirror. Now let's take a look at all of the other features and updates. The new LS has additional welcome lighting. As long as you have your headlights in auto and the door mode engaged for your interior lighting, when you unlock the LS, you'll have more lighting on the exterior and the interior of your vehicle to enter and exit the LS. Some changes to the front fascia, the interior color of the grille, and that the tail lamp detail has been changed from chrome to a piano black. You will notice a new headlamp design. In fact, the triple beam LED headlights with adaptive front lighting is now standard equipment on all LS models for 2021. Parking sensors are integrated into the front bumper and grille and the rear bumper. Your smart key has a lock button, unlock, power trunk opener, and a panic or alarm button. Now, if you're still using that alarm button to locate your vehicle in a parking lot, go ahead and change over to the Lexus app. Every new LS comes with a complimentary trial of all Lexus Inform services. The Lexus app has Lexus Inform Remote built right in. It even includes the ability to locate your vehicle in its last parking place. The Lexus Inform subscription service does rely on a cell signal to locate the vehicle, but once it's found it, just zoom in for more detail. So as long as you have your smart key on you, whether it's in your pocket or your handbag, it doesn't matter. You can use the push button that's on the right-hand side. It's a little touchpad, and then it'll power open for you. And then you have another push button to close just on the left-hand side inside the trunk lid. Keep in mind, the trunk button on the smart key for the LS will open the trunk, but it won't close the trunk. To close the trunk, please make sure to press the button inside the trunk, the button inside the vehicle, or use the kick sensor. My favorite way to open and close the trunk on the LS is with the kick sensor. You're going to aim between the 2 center parking sensors. Again, make sure you have your smart key on you. Just kick and step back. So you don't have to actually make contact with the bumper and yourself. We don't want to do that. So just nice and simple, kick and step back. It's just looking for the retrieval of your foot. Now Nice and simple. Let's do that one more time. Kick and back. So if you decide to close the LS trunk and then change your mind, you can do that too. Kick to close, and then, uh-oh, what if I forgot something? Kick again, and it'll open back up for you. Just listen for that tone. Let's take a look inside the trunk. Make sure to hold on to the bracket for your front license plate if you live in a state where a front plate is required on your vehicle.
Your first aid kit is located just on the right-hand side.
There are a few different compartments in the trunk to be aware of. The large compartment houses the 12-volt accessory battery. On the right-hand side, if you lift up, you'll have tools for emergency towing, as well as the wheel lock key.
The wheel lock key fits the wheel lock. Locate the lug nut with the wave pattern. That's your wheel lock.
It just slides into its storage spot. Make sure it's nice and snug so it doesn't rattle when you're driving. And when you restore the felted cover, you'll notice that there are snap-in places, and they just pop right into place. Pulling up on the left-hand side, you have an additional fuse box that just snap into place. What you don't see in the trunk is a spare tire because your LS has run flat tires. It will even say run flat or tubeless, a great indication that your vehicle has run flats, the run flat logo on the sidewall of the tire. To lock, unlock, and start your LS, you have to have your smart key on you. Unlocking the LS is as simple as putting your hand in the door handle. You can also lock the LS on any of the 4 doors. Simply touch the indentation. When you unlock from the driver's door, for safety reasons, it unlocks the driver's door only. For convenience, if you prefer, just swipe your hand in the door handle of any other passenger door, and it will unlock the entire LS.
Optional power door closers will bring the door completely closed if it's left slightly open.
This does apply to all 4 doors. But take note, it's just the portion of sealing the door completely closed. If you leave the door too far open, it's not going to power close for you.
Vehicle height control offers an access mode that will allow the LS to rise to greet you when you unlock the doors. Let's take another look. When these features are turned on, the adjustments happen automatically, and they make it much easier to enter and exit the LS.
Moving into the rear cabin, you'll note that both outboard seats come equipped with the lower anchors for the latch system. Make sure to follow manufacturer's instructions for installing your car seat. All 3 rear LS seats have top tethers for car seats. Simply lift up to access the tether point. Heated seats for the right side passenger with 3 levels of heat available. Same for the left side passenger. You also have an auto feature for the heating element in both seats. You can control the sunshade, power sunshade. When you put the LS in reverse, the sunshade will retract automatically. And if you need more room in front of that right seat, you can adjust the front right passenger seat as long as the passenger is not detected in the seat. You can even fold and tilt the seat back forward. Below the center air conditioning vents, you have a 12-volt accessory charger. At the top, you have mirrors that are lit and hooks at the ceiling mount for dry cleaning. The same on the right-hand side. Just push to reveal the hook and push it back to store. Moving overhead for the rear cabin passengers, notice that there are individual light controls. You can either have the brightest light toward the center of the vehicle, or you can have an adjustable light on full, on medium, or off. And then the same is true for the right seat passenger. Now, a really cool detail about these rear cabin lights is that they are not only linked to the door mode for your dome lights, but depending on which rear door you open, both lights will come on. I just opened the left-hand rear door, and notice the right far light did not come on. If I had a rear passenger in that right seat, they would not be disturbed by a full light coming on. However, if I open the right door, then both lights come on over the right side passenger, but not the left. So I share that with you so that you have a better understanding of the attention to detail that's gone into the design and the functionality of the LS. It seems like a really small thing, but if you don't understand that it's doing it on purpose, it could cause confusion. We don't want that. We want you to understand that it's all about the details. There are a variety of different finishes and trim levels for the LS. This package does come with a different type of center armrest and a home screen and additional seating functions. The seat operation is controlled from the home screen. Just push the home screen button and you'll see a lot of different controls for the rear cabin. Audio controls, climate control, seat adjustments, shade and light operation, including opening the sunshade. And settings. You've got heated seats. You can adjust the climate control and then increase the volume for the sound system. And then you have shades that are for the rear windows. That is the center back shade. And the side shades. So you can completely shade the entire back cabin, all with a push of a few buttons. So to adjust the recline, push the seat button. You can select left or right. I'm in the right side seat, and then I can make an adjustment. I can also set the memory position. I can touch a different section on the seat and raise or lower. Adjust lumbar support. I can hit automatic, and then it will go right back to the fully retracted position. For additional lumbar controls, just press. You'll hear it and you'll feel the adjustment happening. Whee! I've adjusted the seat position so that it's reclined as much as possible. So just be aware that it does say seat back. So when you are moving it, it is going to not only adjust the back of the seat, but the seat bottom cushion as well. So when you push on the arrows, you are going to see the entire seat, or feel the entire seat, make the adjustment. So it does say seat back, but it's really moving the entire seat. If you need a little more leg room between yourself and the front passenger seat, just touch passenger and then start making adjustments. Obviously, not with a person in the seat. When you don't have rear passengers in the LS, make sure to click the passenger button so that you can restore the front seat really quickly and easily. Just press the return button, and then you'll be able to have that seat come back into place. Push the button on either side of the armrest to open not only for storage, but for USB ports. The first thing to do in your LS is adjust your seat position. There are a lot of adjustments. You can move it forward and back, raise and lower the hip point, raise and lower the front cushion, including extending the front support or retracting. You can tilt your seat back until it's comfortable for you and adjust lumbar support. You can make additional seat position adjustments with this button. Push the seat position adjustment button, and then you can select driver seat adjustment for things like moving the headrest. Do you want to raise it up or bring it down? Additional adjustments would be for shoulder support, mid-back, and lumbar. Now remember that you did have some lumbar adjustment with the buttons on the side of the seat bottom. These are additional lumbar supports, and you'll feel the seat cushion move as you make those adjustments. Your steering wheel is adjusted with the toggle on the left side of the steering column. It can come toward you, away, up, or down. To adjust your side mirrors, select L for left or R for right, and then you'll use the touchpad to make your position adjustments.
Once you have everything where you want it,
in the position you would like to save, push Set, let it go, and push your number, either 1, 2, or 3. Notice this additional button. It has a picture of a seat. A lot of people say it looks like an L for Lexus. That's fine. You're adjusting the right seat. So if I push this button, I can now make an adjustment with the seat controls on the driver's seat, but I'm actually controlling the passenger seat position. Take a look. I'm going to push this forward just as an example. Now I'm pushing back So this is really convenient if you have a front passenger that's not comfortable making the seat adjustment for themselves. The passenger seat has some adjustments as well. Once the passenger seat position is selected, go ahead and save it. Push Set, let it go, and passenger position 1, 2, or 3. In this LS, you have a massage feature for the driver. It's called Driver Seat Refresh. There are 5 different massage functions.
If you highlight each type, notice the light pattern. It indicates the direction of flow.
You can customize the intensity by moving your finger along the touchpad, and you'll see it increase or decrease. You'll also feel it. When you have it where you want it, click down. So that's that air bladder filling with air and then making the seat cushion move in and out for the massage. The system will cycle off automatically after 15 minutes. If you'd like to turn it off sooner, all you have to do is slide the highlighter over and click on Stop. Your LS might also have a passenger massage feature, and that would be listed just under driver seat refresh. You would have the passenger massage feature. Also note that you can fold in your mirrors on your LS, and then to open them, I always recommend that you push the word Auto instead of power opening them with the power open and close button. When you have them in auto, they will automatically fold for you when you lock your LS. It's just a great indication that your vehicle is locked. To lock the LS, simply touch the indentation, and when you have power folding mirrors engaged, you'll notice your side mirrors fold in. Your LS has the capability of customizing for left and right side mirrors the angle of tilt when the LS is in reverse. I'd like to show you how to do that.
Before we learn how to customize the tilt and reverse mirror position, we have to have an understanding of how to shift the LS into reverse. Let's take a look.
So this is a great time to segue into what is different about this shifter for the LS. Notice reverse, neutral, and drive. Also notice that you always have to move to the left before going up or down, which means you're selecting neutral or shifting into neutral before shifting into reverse or drive. What that means is I apply the brake and then push left and up for reverse, or left and down toward me for drive. For park, simply push the giant letter P. To customize the tilt and reverse position for the side mirrors, we're going to do the following. Apply the brake, shift into reverse, make your mirror selection, and adjust on the touchpad. I've chosen the left side mirror for demonstration purposes. Let's say I really need to see a particular spot when I'm backing out. So now I'm in reverse, I've made the adjustment on my left side mirror, and I'm going back to park. Now that position has been memorized. Let's test it out. Apply the brake, shift into reverse, and the position we just programmed is there. If you don't want your mirrors to tilt, just deselect so that you don't have a light on your left or right mirror button, and then they will not tilt when you shift your LS into reverse.
Shifting into gear will activate your view monitor. Let's take a look at how that works. The 360 monitor uses a front-mounted camera, the rear backup camera, and 2 cameras on the sides of the vehicle, underneath each side mirror. When you push the View Monitor button, if you're in park, you'll get an overview of everything around your vehicle. You have a couple of options on the screen. You can change the view so that it looks like you're looking through the vehicle itself, or the bird's eye view. You can pause if you think you see something and you're not quite sure, and then you can resume or play. Also from this screen, you have settings options where you can choose the color of the vehicle. Now take a look at what happens when you use the view monitor and the vehicle is in drive. If you have auto turned on and you slow down or come to a stop, then you'll have your front wide monitor and the 360 view on the right-hand side. You'll notice you have some line markers to help you have more clarification about where you are, for example, in a parking place. You also have intended path turn indicator lines in yellow on the right-hand side. If you click on the settings thumbnail located here, you'll see it toggle through the option of having the intended path lines or not. Just click until you have it the way you want it. Notice the red rectangle? That means we can zoom in on a particular spot. You can only do that on the right side screen. Just click to zoom either the front of the vehicle or the rear of the vehicle. Touch again to go back to the normal view. Notice here you have a symbol just representing that full screen mode, but it is not clickable. If you've turned auto off, you won't see the blue light, and it won't automatically turn this screen on for you when you slow down or come to a stop. For that to happen, you will need to turn it on. Our backup view with our dynamic lines showing your intended path as you turn the wheel. Taking a look through the steering wheel, you have on the left-hand side of your dash the ability to adjust the brightness of your display. Push the up arrow to make it more bright and the down arrow to make it less bright. Your odometer and trip meter button will cycle you through trip A, trip B. It will let you know with the wrench emblem when your next oil change is, and then back to your odometer. If you come to trip A or trip B, and then you push and hold your odometer trip meter button, you can zero out to track mileage for a trip. Moving down on the left-hand side, you have the on-off control for your heads-up display, your view monitor, and if you have some blanks, it just means there are some features available on a different package. We're going to review these items in just a moment. Push the release to open your coin holder. Your fuel door button is located just on the left. The LS uses premium fuel. Power trunk opener and the manual release for the hood. Headlamp controls are on the left-hand side. Make sure you have your selector in the auto position so that your headlights will come on and off for you automatically. If it's turned down to the bottom, everything will be off, including DRL. That stands for daytime running lights. Back to auto, daytime running lights operating like a parking light, and then low beam headlights. But if you leave them in the auto position,
You also have an opportunity to engage something called auto high beams. Just push the button on the end of the stalk. You'll see a green light letting you know that the auto high beams are active. Auto high beams, push the stalk forward for manual high beams. Windshield wipers are operated on the right side of the steering wheel. The position of the stalk tells you what function you're in. Push up once for mist, and then you're back into the off position. Bring it down one click, and you're in automatic, rain sensing. You can adjust the dial for the sensitivity of the auto wipers here. Bring it down one more click, and you're in low, and at the very bottom, you're in high. If you'd like to come back to auto, it's almost parallel to the ground, but if you're not sure, bring it all the way to the top, let it drop, and come down one click. Pull the stalk toward you to spray and clean the front windshield. If you have a digital rear view mirror, you'll also clean the camera for that digital view with the windshield wiper stalk. Let me show you what that looks like. We're going to push the wiper stalk forward. You'll see the spray, and you'll see the washer fluid move across the lens. That looks pretty awesome. Looking up and past the steering wheel, right in reach, these controls were actually designed by race car drivers. This is your drive mode selector. You have a lot of options. To come to normal, push. Push again for a custom mode. This means you would go into your settings and choose which features you want to operate in sport mode or eco mode or comfort mode to customize your favorite drive mode. Twist up for sport, and then up again for Sport S+. From normal, coming down to comfort, eco, pushing the button in to go back to normal, push again for custom, twist the dial up for sport, and up again for Sport S+. Take note that if you have selected custom, on the right side screen, you have an opportunity to immediately customize those settings. You can have powertrain in power, normal, or eco. You can adjust the chassis feel for sport, normal, or comfort. And you can adjust the climate from normal to eco, which would cycle it off the air conditioning compressor sooner to save on fuel economy. On the left side, up on the dash, we have our traction control. If you push the button in, then traction control is noted as being turned off. Simply push again to turn it back on. Traction control off, traction control on. You can also go to a snow mode if required. Snow mode is indicated with the word snow on the bottom right-hand side of your instrument panel. To exit snow mode, simply twist down again. So down to turn snow mode on and down to turn it off. If you're going to take advantage of the sport mode, especially Sport S+, you could also take advantage of the ability to shift with sequential shifting and the paddle shifters. Once you've shifted into manual mode, you can use the paddle shifters to upshift on the right, downshift on the left. Even though you see the plus on the right and the minus on the left at the top of the paddles, notice that they don't click or pull toward you. You bring your hands down so you're at the 3 and 9 safest driving positions, and your fingertips will wrap perfectly around the paddle shifters so that you can click, and it's got a great click pulse sensation, and it will upshift on the right and downshift on the left. Remember, you do need to be in manual mode to use the paddle shifters. You need to choose manual mode. Apply the brake, shift to drive, and then pull straight down. You do need to be in drive before you can select manual mode. Once you've selected manual mode, then you can use the paddle shifters. To come back to drive, simply return neutral and down. To go back to park, push park. Your start and stop engine button are just on the right-hand side. To turn the LS on in accessory mode, which means you don't have to have the engine running, you'll still use the start-stop engine button, just don't apply the brake. Push once for partial accessories and push a second time for full accessory mode. And a little to the left and down is your emergency parking brake. Another braking feature is the brake hold button. We have a video linked in the description below demonstrating brake hold. Make sure to check it out. Moving up from the steering wheel, you'll either have a traditional optical view mirror or the optional digital rear view mirror. Let's take a look at some details about the optical rear view mirror. You'll note the buttons for home link so that you can power open a garage door or gate right from your rear view mirror. All LS rear view mirrors have an auto dimming feature. The auto-dimming feature is designed to prevent glare when driving at night. The feature can be turned off, but when you turn the LS off and back on, it's going to turn back on by default. Follow the link above for the Tech Tip Tuesday segment all about the digital rear view mirror. On the headliner of the vehicle, you have controls for your shade and your moonroof. Your shade buttons are all on the left-hand side. Powering open and closed, shades only. To open the glass for the moonroof, simply use the open-close button. You can also tilt the back of the moonroof just to get some fresh air. You also have the ability to put your dome lights in door mode to make sure that your lights come on when you open your door. If you'd like to turn the light on yourself, simply touch. Your Safety Connect button is located just behind a door so that you don't accidentally engage it, but make sure to check out your Safety Connect features. With your new LS, you have a complimentary trial period for all Lexus Inform features. You also have a glasses holder. Coming to our armrest, just push the button on either side to open. It is dual hinged. Taking a look inside, you have a small felted storage tray, a 12-volt accessory charger, an auxiliary port, and 2 USB ports for charging, also used for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. When you plug in for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, make sure to use a data certified or an authentic cord from the manufacturer. Let's take a look at the buttons on the steering wheel. We'll start on the left-hand side. The arrow buttons, OK button, and the Go Back button all operate your multi-information display. You can move side to side, from menu to menu, or up and down within menus that have multiple screens. If you need to make a selection, you'll press the OK button. Once you've gone deeper into a menu, you might need to use the return arrow button to go back a previous screen. Let's take a look at how this works. We start initially on our information screen. When you see up and down arrows and a slide bar, that lets you know there's more to this menu than the screen that you're currently on. Just use the arrows and move down or up within the menu to see all of the items that are available. Let's zoom in for a closer look. Our information menu contains a lot of fuel economy details, like you're seeing here. This is considered drive information 1. Arrowing down to drive information 2, you'll notice your range. How many miles are left in the tank? This is a very popular item because it's nice to know when you're going to need to stop for fuel. You can also customize the layout of the 2 drive information screens. I'll show you how to do that when we get to settings. Arrowing down, we have an eco indicator. This will show you when you're driving in a fuel-efficient range. Arrowing down, we have a turbo monitor because the LS engine does have a turbo. Arrowing down to our tire pressure monitor. Arrowing down again, and we have a blank screen option if that's your preference. Arrowing down again, and we loop right back to the top of our information menu. Now let's arrow to the right for our next multi-information display item, our compass. Arrowing to the right again, and we have an audio menu. Once you're in the audio screen, if your sound system is turned off, it will say audio off. If your sound system is turned on, you'll see information about your active source. Notice the orange HD logo and the orange highlight of number 1. With your HD radio, you'll have access to multicasting wherever available on HD stations. Now, we've been using the up, down, left, and right arrows, and you might think, hey, if I push that right arrow, I will move to station number 2 of the 88.7 broadcast. But watch what happens. If I push that right-facing arrow, I'm actually going to go to the next menu item in the multi-information display. If you would like to move through the multicast signals that are available, you'll use the arrows on the lower right-hand side of the steering wheel, but rather than click and release, you'll push and hold, and it functions like a seek button. It will go to the next available signal. Push and hold the right arrow, and we're on HD channel 2 of 88.7's multicasting broadcast. Push and hold, and we go to the next available signal. Now, if you push and release the arrows, you'll go through your radio presets that you have already established. Notice at the bottom of the display, it says OK for source. That means push your OK button, and it gives you a quick way to make source selections, AM, FM, or satellite, with the up-down arrows and the OK button. And then you'll even see your presets list once you open that screen. Pushing the Go Back button, and you're back to your source selection. If you see left and right facing arrows to move you through preset pages, then you can use the left and right facing arrows on the left side of the steering wheel, and it will move you page by page. Up and down arrows on the left side of the steering wheel will move you through your radio presets. Push and go back again. You can also arrow up or down to change sources. if you prefer. So you have a lot of different options and a lot of different functions that you can use for your audio system right on your steering wheel. Arrowing to the right again, we have driving support information for lane trace assist and our cruise control. We'll explore those details when we move to the right side of the steering wheel. Arrowing to the right one last time for settings. In settings, you'll notice there are a lot of safety and convenience features that you can turn off or on or customize. The first item on the list is our blind spot monitor. Notice that BSM is indicated as being on. In previous years, when blind spot monitor was turned on, you saw green initials for BSM on the left-hand side of your dash. New for 2021, when blind spot monitor is on, you don't see the green initials. What happens is if you turn blind spot monitor off, it tells you off and it has the blind spot monitor icon. So let's leave blind spot monitor on and then come down to PKSA, Parking Support Alert, pushing the OK button to open. Parking support alert, things that beep at you when you are wanting to park. The top item on the list, parking sensors. When we turn that off, on the right-hand side, we see that the parking icon is showing and the parking sensors are off. So just like we experienced with BSM or blind spot monitor, when something is off, we're going to have an orange icon telling us the feature is off. When it's on, there are no lights that appear on the dash. RCTA, rear cross traffic alert. When you are in motion, in reverse, backing out of a parking place, for example, if there is traffic crossing at the rear of the vehicle, you will get an alert. If you turn rear cross traffic alert off, you'll have an indicator, left-hand side, RCTA off. We'll turn that back on. RCD, rear camera detection. This is to allow your backup camera to perceive pedestrians at the rear of the vehicle. If we turn it off, we get a message, RCD off. Turn that back on. Arrowing down, and we can customize our alert level. How loud are the beeps? Let's hear some examples. 3, 1, and 2. 2 is the default. Now we need to go back a screen. Let's use our go back button. And let's come down to our auto braking feature. This is also in some vehicles designated as PKSB, Parking Support Brake. If we turn that off, we'll see that same icon telling us it is off. The Parking Support Brake auto braking feature works in conjunction with your parking sensors and rear cross traffic alert. If you are getting a notification from those two safety features and you don't come to a complete stop, the vehicle will assist you by applying the brakes. Arrowing down for our HUD brightness and position. This is your heads up display or head up display. We turn our heads up display on and off with the button that we looked at on the left-hand side. If the heads-up display is turned off, the item will be grayed out. Push your HUD button on the dash on the left-hand side. You will notice it is only visible to the driver. It looks like it's through the windshield, just a few feet in front of the glass. Now let's take a look at how to adjust that. Push your OK button to select to make adjustments. The up and down arrows will raise and lower your heads-up display image. When you raise and lower it, you'll see some brackets around the image to give you an idea of the full width of the display. And the left and right arrows will allow the image to be more bright, or by pushing the left arrow, more dim. Now we need to push our Go Back button to escape that menu item. I'm going to jump you through some other items that we will come back to, but we are going to Vehicle Settings. I promise we'll come back to these other things, but we're going to do all of the heads-up display at once. Now in Vehicle Settings, we're going to open up Heads-Up Display. These are all things that we can customize to show in the heads-up display. Do you want your tach information to show either not at all? Do you want an eco indicator or just the tachometer? Tachometer is standard. Push the Go Back button. HUD Driving Support. We have some driving support information in our multi-information display, but if you have a heads-up display, you can also have details there, like navigation information for your upcoming turn, driving assist information, like lane trace assist information, for example, your compass, and audio information. If you change a station or your volume, the information will appear and then fade out of view. Pushing Go Back, you can rotate the heads-up display clockwise by pushing the right arrow, or counterclockwise by pushing the left arrow. Let's push the Go Back button, Go Back again, and those are all of the settings for the heads-up display. Push Go Back again to exit Vehicle Settings, because we'll come back and look at these other items momentarily. And you can arrow up or down to loop back to the beginning of our settings list. There we were at Heads Up, Brightness, and Position. And arrow down, we can customize the units that are displayed for miles or kilometers. Arrowing down again, lane centering, steering assist, the type of alert, and the sensitivity all have the same icon on the left-hand side because they all pertain to lane trace assist. When you're using lane trace assist and you turn on and activate your dynamic radar cruise control, you have some additional support. And you have lane centering on, the vehicle will work harder to keep you in the center of the lane. Steering assist, also when you have your cruise control turned on, the LS can apply steering assist to help you maintain your intended path within the lane. Coming down to our alert customization, you can have an audible alert or a vibration of the steering wheel. The vibration selection is on by default and is the preference of most drivers that I've spoken with. You can customize the sensitivity, standard, or high. Coming down to PCS, our pre-collision system, you can turn the pre-collision system off. You'll see an indication that the feature has been turned off on the far left side of the dash. When you turn the vehicle off, the pre-collision system will be turned back on automatically. We really recommend that you leave the pre-collision system turned on and that you learn more about how it works and what you can customize, like the sensitivity. So rather than turn the system off, go ahead and change from a long range or the most sensitive to either the mid-range or a close range for sensitivity, and see if you like that preference better. Coming down to Vehicle Settings. Push the OK button to open. Now we can further customize your Lane Trace Assist feature. Push to open. We can allow sway warning to be on or off. The sway warning will activate if you have had multiple corrections in a row from your Lane Trace Assist feature and the vehicle feels like you have not actively responded. It's concerned that you are potentially a fatigued driver. It is going to pop up a picture of a coffee cup. It's going to tell you to take a rest. And you can customize the sensitivity of the sway warning, standard, low, or high. Pushing our Go Back button, coming down to Blind Spot Monitor. And remember, what we're doing here are additional customizations. We can make the image in our side view mirror bright or dim. Most people prefer the bright mode. Arrowing down, and we can customize the sensitivity for the system registering that a vehicle is in your blind spot. There are 4 levels of sensitivity, and you can just continue clicking the OK button until you have the system at your preferred setting. Pushing Go Back. Coming down to this symbol, which stands for RSA, Road Sign Assist. Pushing OK to open, and we can turn Road Sign Assist on or off. When you turn it off, the customizations are hidden. Turning it on, and we can select, do we want to be notified if we exceed a recognized speed limit? Now I say recognized because sometimes speed limit signs are blocked or they are out of range of the camera. Or if it is recognizing it and we just don't want to be notified when we exceed that speed limit, if we do, we would select no notification, visual only, or visual and audible. Pushing Go Back, and we can customize our notification level. So if we said we do want to be notified if we exceed a recognized speed limit, we can have that notification at 1 mile an hour over, 3 miles an hour over, or 5 miles an hour over. Arrowing back. In order to have your speed limit signs appear, you do have to activate not only RSA, but you need to have the speed limit information turned on in your map. Let's take a look at how to do that. From your map, make sure to select your map options screen. You'll need to have speed limit information turned on, so highlight and click down, or just use your touch screen. But the speed limit information does need to be turned on in your map and your multi-information display to properly show for road sign assist. Other signs like yield signs, stop signs, and right-of-way signs. Pushing to open, we could have no notification, only visual, visual, and audible. Pushing to go back. Pushing Go Back. There's our HUD. We've already made our customizations. Remember when we saw the vehicle adjust the height to come up to greet us when we unlock the door? This is where you can turn on and off height control, the access mode, and that's what we were experiencing when we were unlocking with Smart Access. When height control is turned on and the vehicle is in the high height, you will see a green vehicle symbol with the word high inside. If the vehicle is not in high, but height control is still turned on, the high vehicle symbol will turn off. Pushing the Go Back button, arrowing down to turn on or off the kick sensor that opens the trunk. Arrowing down for our tire pressure warning system. These settings are normally operated by a technician if your tires are being serviced or perhaps you're getting a new set of wheels for your vehicle. Pushing Go Back, coming down to Scheduled Maintenance. Pushing OK, and we have an opportunity. Do we want to reset our scheduled maintenance information? I'm going to say no, since this is a brand new vehicle. But for you, depending on when you're servicing your vehicle, typical service times are every 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first. And when your vehicle is serviced, they should reset this for you at your Lexus dealer. Notice that we have scheduled maintenance and oil maintenance. That's because even though we might service every 5,000 miles, oil changes will happen every 10,000 miles or once a year, whichever comes first. And again, your service department at your local Lexus dealer will reset this for you at the time of your maintenance. Pushing Go Back, and we have reached the end of our vehicle settings. By pushing down, we loop right back around to the top. Pushing our Go Back button to come back to our main settings menu, arrowing down to Meter Settings. Pushing OK to open, we can customize the language of the display, English, French, or Spanish. Pushing Go Back, another place for unit customization. You can have a digital speedometer. Pushing OK and changing to an analog speedometer. Pushing OK again for a combination, digital and analog. Back to digital. Coming down and you'll see Drive Info 1 and Drive Info 2. Remember those drive information screens that I told you were customizable? Push the OK button after you've selected the screen you want to customize. Then, select the item that you would like to replace with different information. Let's push OK, and let's say we wanted to have our fuel range, or how many miles are left in the tank, on the very first screen. We just keep arrowing until we find the item that we want, push OK, and now our first drive information screen has been customized. To check what it looks like, push the Go Back button to leave that menu. Go back again to come out of Meter Settings, and arrow to the right back to your information screen. And now we have our current fuel economy and our range. Shortcut arrow to the left back to Settings, OK to open Meter Settings, and then come down. You can customize Drive Info 2 if you would like. Arrowing down, you can have a 12-hour or 24-hour clock. You'll see it change as you push the OK button. Arrowing down to the pop-up display. These are all items that you can have pop up on your screen. Intersection guidance, telephone calls, audio information, volume information, and the adjust brightness screen that we saw when we adjusted the brightness of our entire gauge cluster. Pushing Go Back, you can change the color of your display from blue to a gold theme, whatever you prefer. Back to blue, arrowing down, and that's the pop-up eco indicator that you can turn on or off. All the eco indicator does is tell you, atta-girl or atta-boy, you are driving in a fuel-efficient way. If you turn this off, if you drive in a fuel-efficient way, you drive in a fuel-efficient way. If you don't, you don't. But if you like the pop-up, it will be there. It can help you learn to be a more fuel-efficient driver by paying attention to when it pops up and when it doesn't. But if it's not something that you'd like to see, you can always turn it off. Coming down, and we could choose to go back to our factory default settings. Coming down again, and we loop right around to the top of our meter settings menu. Pushing go back to leave our meter settings. And then I like to always arrow down to come right back to the top of our main settings menu so that when I come back, I can see very easily a lot of the items that are available to customize. If you push the go back button again, you'll notice that we don't go back anywhere. That's always a good indication that you're as far back to the main menu as you can get. Just start arrowing left or right until you're on the screen that you prefer. So let's talk about these remaining buttons on the left-hand side. We have our voice command or our talk button, our volume controls up or down for phone and audio, and then our telephone button to either answer or hang up a call. Once you have a phone registered to the system, you'll be able to use the telephone button and voice command for making phone calls through the Bluetooth system. Make sure to follow the prompts to pair your phone to Bluetooth. I have another video for you that's all about using your phone through the Bluetooth system. The link is below. Make sure to check that out so that you can learn more about using the phone in your Lexus. But let's give some voice commands. The very first time you access voice commands in your Lexus, you might hear something like this.
Before you start, consider viewing the available video tutorials or voice training functionality. Select the Do Not Tell Me Again option if you do not want this reminder again, or just push the talk button to continue. The tutorials and training will always be available from the voice settings menu.
So if you're ready to completely clear that message, you'll select Don't Tell Me Again, and then click OK. If you did just press the talk button, it is going to repeat that message to you the next time you access voice command. Once you've accessed voice command, if you'd like to cancel, you can push and hold the talk button or just click the X. When you use the Lexus system's voice command for things like navigation, audio, climate control, you name it, you're going to push and release the talk button. If you're using voice command through Siri for Apple CarPlay or Bixby or OK Google through Android Auto, you're always going to push and hold, moving to the right-hand side of the steering wheel. All of these controls operate your dynamic radar cruise control. Click the top button to turn it on or off. You'll see radar cruise active, and you'll see the green icon on the left-hand side with the vehicle for following distance and the arrow for speed. Click set once you've established the speed that you want to cruise. You can increase or decrease. You can cancel or tap on the brake. Once you've canceled, you can resume. The other item to set when you're using radar cruise control, not just your speed, but your following distance. Think of this as a buffer zone between you and the vehicle traveling in front of you. And then toggle through your following distance options: long range, mid-range, close range. If you want to use traditional cruise control where you're completely in charge of the brake, turn cruise off and then push and hold to change from dynamic radar cruise control to traditional cruise control. And you'll see the icon change on the left-hand side. Then just set your speed when you're ready, and you can still increase or decrease. Use the cancel button and the resume feature. Your lane trace assist button is located here. Just push to turn it on or off. Either way, you'll have a message on the screen. When you push the button to activate Lane Trace Assist, you'll have a message LTA turned on. You'll see that go away, but on the left-hand side, you'll see the Lane Trace Assist icon on screen. When you are driving and you start to veer toward the edge of a lane without your blinker on, that symbol will light up and you'll have a vibration or an audible alert letting you know that you've started to veer too close to the lane. If you choose to have your driving support screen turned on, you'll see hollow lane markers on either side of the representation of the front of the vehicle. When the lane markers are detected on the road, those lane lines on your screen will light up solid. You'll also see a visual indication on the screen if you start to veer out of the lane without your blinker on. If you have your blinker on, you override the system because the vehicle knows that you intend to leave your lane. If you're on the driving support screen on the multi-information display and dynamic radar cruise control and lane trace assist are turned off, this is the message you'll see. When you turn those features on, you'll have an indicator and your screen will change. The lower buttons on the bottom right-hand side are linked to your audio system. The mode button will toggle you through AM, FM, satellite, Bluetooth, you name it. A great tip about the mode button is that if you push and hold, mode will mute or pause your audio. The arrows will move you through your radio presets. So make sure to set your radio presets so that you can take full advantage of the arrows on the lower right-hand side of your steering wheel. Looking inside, you'll notice right away that there's a new shape and position for the 12.3-inch high-definition, now touch screen operation system. If you see an item on the screen that you'd like to access, just touch and it will open. If you see a left-facing arrow, you can click to go back. You can also use the hard button Go Back shortcut for most return or previous screen commands. Let's talk about the basics of the touchpad operation and all of the buttons that are located nearby. Our map button will pull up the map onto the screen if something else is showing. It will also recenter the map in case you've clicked off of your central location. The menu button opens the main menu across the screen. Go Back button will take you back a screen wherever possible. The entire surface of the touchpad is touch sensitive, and once you've highlighted an item that's clickable, you can click anywhere and the entire touchpad will click down to open that particular item. You'll just use the pad of your finger, not the tip of your finger or your fingernail. You might not have enough finger pad to make a good contact to control where the cursor is moving on the screen. Some people even say they like to use the side of their thumb. Whatever is easier for you. Just know that initially all you're doing is making contact with the surface of the pad. Once you've highlighted something that you want to select, then just push down. There are some customizations for the touchpad if you're having any trouble operating it. We'll go over those when we go into the settings of our main menu. This button with the double chevron is an additional menu item. You might typically see this on the climate screen and in some additional setting screens. When you see it on the screen, just push here and it will be linked and open the additional menu on screen for you. Pushing our main menu button, notice that you can highlight an item on the menu and then use the touchpad to slide up to any of the shortcuts that are available for that particular menu item. However, if you push the main menu button, you can also then jump right into an item with the touchscreen. You can simply touch right on the screen to access. There are some circumstances, like with the map, for example, if you click either right on the screen or with the highlighter and the touchpad, there's not a way to quickly use the screen to go back to where you're located, so you have a hard button shortcut. Just push that map button and you'll return right to your vehicle's location. You have a map view and compass on the top left corner. You can either use the touch screen or the touchpad and click to change views. There's a 3D mode, a 2D mode with north always at the top, so the map is not going to rotate. The circle and the triangle will rotate. Coming to our 2D mode in the direction that you're driving. This means the circle and triangle will always move up the map and the map will turn as you turn. This is the most popular view and it most closely resembles what you would see on a smartphone. Clicking on the search icon will open the destination search feature. This is just like pushing the menu button and clicking destination or using some of the shortcuts with the touchpad access. You can enter a go home shortcut. Always remember to set something nearby your home and not your exact home address, just for an additional safety measure. The voice command would be go home. Coming to search, you can enter an address, a point of interest, a street, a city, etc. You can also click on the microphone icon if you would like to prompt a voice search, or just shortcut and from any screen at all, use your voice command. Find a Starbucks nearby. Notice the cloud icon.
Searching. Showing results for Starbucks. Select the one you want. Say next page for more items.
Number 3.
To navigate to this point of interest, say go there.
Go there.
Starting guidance for a new route.
Could also have clicked go right on the screen. When you see that cloud icon, it's part of your dynamic navigation system that allows the navigation to connect to a cloud resource that will overlay new and updated information as it becomes available. It also helps to optimize your route and update points of interest as the information becomes available to the cloud resource. You can either click OK or start to drive.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, then the route guidance will start.
Once you have a route programmed in, you'll see the blue highlight. Notice these other colors along our major freeway. The green in the middle represents traffic flow. So green is good. If it's yellow, it's slow. If it's red, it's bumper to bumper. The orangish color is actually the highway itself. Some other icons to be aware of, you can click on the X to cancel out, or you can also voice command cancel route. But before we leave this route, let's take a look at some other details. Map options will allow us to show point of interest icons on the screen. We want to keep our speed limit information turned on so that our speed limit signs that are in view can show. Traffic information, like we just mentioned, we want that green, yellow, and red giving us an indication of what the traffic flow is along our route. Route trace See the footprint icon? Route Trace leaves little dots all along your path so that if you're in an area that isn't mapped well, you can follow your way back out. Under most driving conditions, we leave this feature turned off. It's very beneficial though if you are in an area that's a little bit off the beaten path and may not have been mapped yet. Map data is going to show you which map version you have. Keep in mind that the map version is talking about the hard data information that was input when this system was brought online with map information. When you have dynamic navigation, this map version information is going to remain the same, but the map details will continually update. However, it's not permanently updated onto the system. You have a complimentary trial period for dynamic navigation. When that trial period expires, you'll be able to do a navigation update. There is a fee for that. You can get information from your Lexus dealer, or you can do the installation yourself right through your Lexus app. Now keep in mind, you have to be within 90 days of your trial expiring before that map update would be available, because when you pay for the service, you're also extending your cloud connection for 2 years. Pushing our Go Back button or Go Back on the screen. Coming down to our route options, we can overview our route. We can look at our route type, meaning we have 3 choices of quick, short, or alternate. And then a very important thing to check, route preference. Now, route preferences can only be accessed once you have a route programmed into the system. Avoid freeways off. That's good. We don't want to avoid freeways. We want to be able to use freeways. But in our area, we also have a lot of toll roads. So if we have avoid toll roads turned on, we're not going to be able to get routes calculated with toll roads. We want to turn that off. We do not want to avoid freeways or toll roads in our particular area. So you're going to want to pick settings that make sense for where you're traveling, and then click OK to save.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, then the route guidance will start.
Notice that we can mute the navigation voice if we would like, and we would still have guidance on screen. You can zoom in or out with the plus or minus. However, touchscreen, how cool is that? You can zoom in or out right on the screen just by pinching your fingers together or apart. And then you can do the same thing on the touchpad. Zooming out by pulling your fingers together, zooming in by pulling them apart. Let's cancel our route by voice command. Click the voice command button, wait for the beep, and give your command. Cancel route.
Route canceled.
Super easy. Let's try an address. Get directions to 9300 Grogan's Mill Drive, The Woodlands, Texas.
Here is the address I found. Would you like to go there?
Yes.
Starting guidance.
So that's the gist of navigation. Let's move on to our next menu item. Pressing the menu button, and we have our audio system. So let's do some audio voice commands, which means we'll push and release and give our command. Tune to 99.1.
99.1 FM.
So our keywords were tune to. You can do the same thing for AM or satellite. Tune to channel 33.
Channel 33.
With satellite, you want to say channel and the number or the name. Tune to the bridge.
The bridge.
AM channels are going to always be whole numbers. Tune to 610. But we're always waiting for the beep, and we're always saying tune to, just to make it really simple and easy, and the system knows what we need. There are additional voice commands for the audio system in your owner's manual and your navigation or multimedia owner's manual. Make sure to check them out and get acquainted with those shortcuts. They're very handy when you're on the road. Coming to source, you can make your source selection. Presets, you have a maximum of 36 presets, 6 pages with 6 presets each, and you can customize how many pages of presets that you would like to show. Tune to 96.5.
96.5 FM.
Now that it's playing, I can save this as a favorite by selecting presets. Move the highlighter to the position that I want for this radio station. Push and hold, and it's selected. Radio replay is like DVR for your audio system. You can cache up to 20 minutes of FM or AM HD stations and up to 1 hour of satellite programming. This means if your audio source can be cached and your programming is interrupted, for example, by a Bluetooth phone call, it's going to automatically cache. When you end your call, it's going to pick up where you left off. Coming to the station list, you can pull up station information for AM, FM, or satellite. You can also explore by genre. Coming to options, you can turn on and off the auto pause, Sirius XM tune start, which means it can start at the beginning of a song rather than in the middle. You can turn on and off the HD signal for AM or FM. If you turn HD radio for FM off, then you have the capability of turning FM information off or on. But when your HD signal is on, your FM information is going to be on by default. You can turn on or off the scan feature. Coming to sound, you can make adjustments for treble, mid-range, and bass. Keep in mind that this can be customized for each audio source, AM, FM, satellite, Bluetooth. You'll be able to customize the settings based on the content that you're listening to for that particular source. So when you make a customization for FM, then go ahead and go to your next source and then make a new customization. Coming down to the fader balance or the positioning of the sound in the speaker system on the vehicle, this is a one-shot deal. When you customize your fader and your balance, that's going to apply to all sources. Pushing go back, you can turn on or off the automatic sound levelizer. This makes minute adjustments based on vehicle speed and whether or not you have the windows opened or closed. You can make adjustments to surround sound. Is it in 3D mode, 2D mode, or off? What I recommend here is that you get something playing for the source that you would most likely have this apply to. Get your favorite music playing and then change it from 3D, 2D, or off and just see what you like better. There's no wrong answer and no right answer. And I know my audiophile fans are probably not happy with me for saying that. Some people love surround sound. Some people people, not so much. I just say to you, get your favorite music playing, play with the settings, and see what makes you happiest. Pushing go back, and we're done with our sound system settings. Go back again. You have hard button shortcut operation here. Power and volume and tune are all integrated together, right in easy reach for the driver. So just push to power off or on, turn the tall bezel for volume, the wider lower bezel to tune to your favorite stations. You can seek on a radio dial or move from track to track with the arrow buttons here. You can shortcut to the radio screen or the media screen, which is going to be alternate audio sources like Bluetooth, or if you're listening to a CD, because we do have a CD player. Single disc, eject here, and all the other operation for the CD is going to be on the main screen. If we push our radio hard button shortcut, you'll have your radio information appear on the screen. If you want your preset information to appear, just select Presets. Pushing the media hard button shortcut, and if you have another audio source active like Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary, or even a CD in the CD player, then you'll have that information on screen with the push of a button. Nice and simple. One last item to be aware of for the sound system is the ability to turn on a small side screen for your audio so that then you could push your map button and have your map view on the left and a split screen with audio on the right. Now you'll notice on the right hand side all of these other icons because you could do the reverse. You could click to have the map view on the right and push your radio button to have your audio on the left. No matter what you open, whether it's map, music, trip information, or climate information, anything that's on the large screen on the left-hand side can be pushed to full screen by clicking on the full screen icon on the bottom right corner. So let's watch that with the map. If we had the map on the left, music on the right, come to our full screen icon on the bottom right corner, click full screen map. Coming back to our main menu, make sure to follow the steps in Setup to pair your phone. Once your phone is paired, you'll have access to your phone book, call history, and voice command for telephone calls. Coming to apps, you'll see Inform App Suite up at the top. Your Lexus Inform App Suite is part of the Lexus app. Once you've paired your phone through Bluetooth, you will be able to access things like Lexus plus Alexa right in your vehicle. If your screen prompts you to do an update, go ahead and click and allow the update to complete. Go ahead and click Install and Continue, and then OK once it's complete. On this screen, we're seeing communication information, so notifications about service, and then the vehicle does have a Wi-Fi hotspot provided by AT&T. You have a complimentary trial period of 4 gigs or 3 months, whichever comes first. You can set up your account through AT&T. Make sure to reference our Wi-Fi video to learn more about using the Wi-Fi hotspot in your Lexus. Pressing our menu button, you'll see projection unless you plug into the USB ports under the armrest for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. For a detailed tutorial about using Apple CarPlay in your Lexus, make sure to follow the link in the video description below. Coming to Info, you'll have trip information, traffic incident information, And the most popular item, the weather. You'll have a local forecast based on the location of your vehicle, a 3-day forecast that you can click into for more detail, a 6 and 12-hour breakdown of the weather for the day, recently checked locations, national cities and local cities, and a Doppler weather map. We've got a lot of rain coming our way. So notice I was able to zoom out to a certain extent and zoom in to a certain extent. So if you're trying to zoom in or out and it doesn't move, it means you're as close or far as you can get. Pushing our Go Back button, and then we'll be right back in our weather screen, pushing our Go Back button again, and we're back to our information section. When your vehicle is old enough to have a vehicle alert history, you'll have details here. You also have an electronic owner's manual. The e-owner's manual allows you to explore even more about your vehicle. You've got a table of contents. You can search by keyword. The visual search and the videos are the most popular items for the e-owner's manual. The visual search allows you to explore from the exterior or the interior of the vehicle, and then you can zoom in to particular areas and then learn more about those items. Push your main menu button and come to Setup. If we highlight the word Setup, notice that you can select Display. This would allow you to turn your screen off. If you turn your screen off, you just need to push another button to turn it on, like the map button. Coming down, you can adjust the contrast and brightness for the general screen view or the camera view. You would just select and then plus or minus for contrast and brightness. And you'll see your example screen making the adjustment for you to let you know what impact you're making to your screen view. Pushing go back again, or push your menu button. We're going to skip the rest of setup for just a moment and come to climate. We have shortcuts to key climate menu items, or push on climate to open your entire climate screen. You can adjust driver and passenger temperature, change where the air is flowing with your airflow mode button right on the screen. You can increase or decrease your fan speed. And then you have items in this additional menu like your AC compressor. This is your S-Flow feature. S-Flow is like a smart flow. Notice that there's only one person in this vehicle. It's only showing a temperature control for the driver. Right now, it's not detecting a side passenger, and the outside temperature and the temperature that I've selected doesn't require the car to cool that right side, so it's not even showing a temperature there because it's not actually blowing air out of the passenger side air conditioning vents. Now, if I lowered this or raised it to the point that it needed to, it will engage. If, however, you want air flowing in the entire vehicle all the time, turn S-Flow off. So S-Flow cancel. That means we're taking over. We're going to say we want air everywhere. If we turn S-Flow back on, you'll see either the front passengers only, Or you might even see S-Flow driver. So we're seeing S-Flow front because right now it is monitoring air for the front cabin. If it detected passengers in the rear because a back door was opened, then with S-Flow you would have air flowing to the back. But if you want to know for sure that air is flowing everywhere, turn S-Flow off. S-Flow cancel. The simple way to remember that is when this light is on, the airflow might be off. When this light is off, the airflow is everywhere. Eco Heat and Cool will allow the system to cycle off of the AC compressor sooner. Lexus Climate Concierge. Climate Concierge uses sensors throughout the vehicle to help maintain the selected temperature and prevent warm or cool spots. It can even tell if the sun is shining stronger on one side of the vehicle than another. Climate Concierge is like auto on steroids. So if you turn Climate Concierge on, everything is going to be in auto. Airflow mode, the fan speed, seat climate. Let's check that out. Seating and steering, auto, auto, auto. Everything is in auto because Climate Concierge has been turned on. This is the Climate Concierge screen. If I come back to our front screen, notice what happens. If I click Climate Concierge, it doesn't do anything. It's already on. Just like with regular auto, once you turn it on, you can't simply quickly turn it off. You actually have to take over. Even from the Climate Concierge screen. So if you like the vehicle to be in charge for you, turn on Climate Concierge. All you have to do is be in charge of the temperature. And look what's happening. It's determining, do we need heat? Do we need fan? It's heating up the seat, the steering wheel. Change the temperature, and it changes the settings. Climate Concierge, super easy. Dual mode allows two independent temperature settings. Turn dual off and we sync to a single temperature, the driver's selected temperature. Let me show you a few voice commands about the climate control system. 70 degrees.
Changing to 70 degrees.
I'm too cold.
Setting to 74 degrees.
It's too hot in here.
Setting to 70 degrees.
You can tell your vehicle it's too hot, it's too cold, I'm too warm, I'm too cold. She'll just adjust the temperature 4 degrees. Pretty awesome. Show seat and steering screen.
Showing steering wheel screen. Please use manual controls.
So even though they've added this shortcut button for the seat and steering climate, you can also launch it by voice command. Then when it says use manual controls, you'll need to use the touch screen or the touchpad. We have additional tutorials for voice commands specific to the LS and some general voice command tutorials. Make sure to check them out with the links provided. So our other buttons that are on our center console are for climate control. You can adjust the driver's side temperature, the passenger side temperature. And did you notice that originally a temperature wasn't showing there? That's because this car is so smart, it actually knows that there isn't a passenger in the right side seat. And to try to save on fuel economy, it was focusing all of its attention on me because I'm in the driver's seat. But now I've made an adjustment and I've asked the system to cool down that right side seat even though nobody is over there. And so it's going to do that for me. You can put your fan in auto. That means it's going to increase or decrease the fan for you based on the temperatures that you've selected and the outside temperature. You could turn it off or be in charge of the fan yourself. So less fan, more fan. You also have a front defrost and then a rear window and side mirror defrost. When you turn those on, you'll see a light. You can open and close the flow of air on any of the vents in the vehicle, and your two main vents are right around your hazard lights. So if you ever accidentally push your hazard lights while you're adjusting your fan, it's going to flash and you'll hear it, and then just push again to turn it off. From our main climate screen, we can jump to seat and steering controls, or we can use our new shortcut button and open the same screen. We can cool our seats, driver and passenger, just by clicking right on the screen, and it will activate the fan, or we can warm the seats. Notice that right now things are in auto. The first touch of either fan or heat will activate the auto mode. If you wanted something other than what the vehicle has selected automatically, just click the item again. You have 3 levels of heat and 3 levels of fan for each seat. The steering wheel has 2 levels of heat. Unlike fan speed, when you have the auto mode engaged for seat climate, you can turn auto off just by deselecting. Coming to our rear seat controls, there are buttons in the armrest for the rear seat, but if you want to take over the heating and help somebody out back there, all you have to do is click on rear seat control. Notice that the first push turns auto on, and then we can take over by clicking again. Left side rear passenger, right side rear passenger. Coming to our climate concierge settings, if we wanted to see information about the front or the rear. Coming to options, and we have additional menu items. Most of these menu items we've seen already, except for this one. That's our pollen filter. If you activate the pollen filter, it's going to close the vents from outside air and push the air that's being recirculated in the cabin through a powerful filter to help clean the cabin air. It will cycle off on its own, or you can deselect to turn it off. You can turn on and off your AC compressor, and you can activate the windshield wiper de-icer. And that's your climate control main screen menu. Notice on the right-hand side, we also have a climate control symbol here. Let's take a look at our right side menu. We can have a climate summary screen with our fan speed, our airflow mode, AC compressor, dual, smart flow, and climate concierge, our seating and steering controls, and back to our front screen controls. If you want to have your climate shortcut right side screen open, you might want to have your map on the left. You could also have your audio on the left. Other items for the right side screen: trip information, fuel economy, trip history, back to trip information, a music summary screen, in case you prefer the map on the left, and audio on the right. our top item would be a map or compass layout, and then perhaps audio on the left. So you can customize this screen in numerous ways. Whatever is on the left-hand side, if you use the full screen icon on the bottom right corner, you will push that item to full screen. Pushing back to the left, and the last item that you had selected for the right side screen will appear. Let's do that again. Full screen, left side. Pushing our map, pushing full screen, coming back to our main menu, and now let's wrap up with setup. When you open your setup menu, it's going to default to your general settings. So you'll see clock right at the top. In this system, you can select your time zone or allow the vehicle to auto-detect your time zone. The same is true for daylight saving. Auto, on or off. Another item is auto adjust by GPS. When we turn that on, the clock will be set for us based on the time zone that we're in and whether or not daylight saving time is in auto, on, or off, and it will set our clock for us. If we need a little extra time and we would rather manually set our clock, you can still have your time zone set to auto, daylight saving time set to auto, but you could sneak in a few extra minutes if you need that time. But if you turn auto adjust by GPS back on, watch our clock, and it's going to make the correction for you. Push and go back. You can change the language on your display from English, Spanish, or French. You can come back to your display settings, just like we saw in the shortcut menu. Push and go back, and swiping down to come to the next screen. Projection settings, this is where we turn on or off permission for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, depending on the type of phone that you're using. Push and go back, we can change our theme setting from blue to gold. Our unit of temperature for the weather forecast can be changed from Fahrenheit or Celsius. Keep in mind that this does not change the outside temperature setting. That is determined at the factory, and it is specific to the country that your Lexus is being sold in. Units of measurement, kilometers or miles. Continue to scroll down. Auto change to screen. They used to call this auto screen change. What it means is if that feature is turned on, your system will automatically revert back to the map or a main menu if you're not actively engaging with the touchpad or the touch screen. So if you prefer to leave your screen on audio, for example, you like to see your radio all the time, you're going to want to turn off auto change to screen because you do not want it to automatically change to a different screen. You want it to stay on the screen that you have selected. You can turn on and off your selection sound, the pointer sound, like the ding ding that you're hearing as I move the pointer, the error sound, meaning you clicked on something that's not clickable and it tells you. Pointer sound volume can be turned up or down. feedback force. This is the pulsing sensation that you feel under your touchpad and that pull to a clickable surface. A lot of people prefer to turn this off completely. I recommend that you play with these settings and find the setting that you like best. Cursor speed, normal is the default. If you're having trouble with the touchpad, I recommend that you change this to slow. If slow is too slow, come back to normal. If you are really proficient with the touchpad, change it to fast and you'll have a much more slippery feel. It will move across the screen very quickly and easily. You can turn on or off a multi-touch command for the touchpad. You can change your keyboard layout from QWERTY style, which is traditional computer or typewriter keyboard style, to an alphabetical layout. You can delete your keyboard history, which is a great thing to do. If you're getting a vehicle that's new to you, you could delete the keyboard history, or you could do one even better and do something called delete personal data, which we'll come across in just a moment. Right now, memorizing keyboard history is on. You can delete your search history if you need to clear the cache for your search. There it is, delete personal data. This is like wiping the system, and it's like making a car new to you. It will clear phones, radio presets, navigation information, you name it. Software update setting, Grace Note database setting, and software information are all items that are typically used internally at your Lexus dealer if a software update is available for your vehicle. If you can't scroll down anymore, you will not see a blue down arrow. So notice that we only have arrows back at the top. A way to shortcut back to the top is to highlight our slide bar, click down, and then just swipe all the way up to the top. Click down again to escape. Coming to Bluetooth, this is where you can add or remove Bluetooth devices for your system on your Lexus. Coming to audio, you can turn on and off album art, cover art, and you can have a priority of Grace Note information. So Grace Note information is a lot of the data about your content. Make a note about the cover art. A lot of the symbols and images that show when the vehicle is stopped do not show when the vehicle starts to move. So if you have beautiful album art and then it goes away and it shows a generic symbol, that is by design. So just don't be shocked. Coming back to radio, you can manage your smart favorites for your radio caching. And then my favorite, you can change your number of radio presets. So if you only want to have one page with 6 presets, you can easily make that customization. Push and go back. You can select favorite genres for FM and Sirius XM. Once you have a phone paired to the system, you'll have additional customizations for your phone settings. Coming down to voice. Voice volume will allow you to raise or lower the volume for the navigation system and the voice command prompts. You can turn that up or down. Just know that that is not going to impact the volume of phone calls. Other Bluetooth audio volumes, whether it's music or podcast app or If you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, all of those volumes are all independent of one another, and they're not impacted by this voice volume setting. There are additional voice-related settings, things that you can turn on and off, like navigation guidance, voice in all modes. You can also customize how much input the voice recognition prompts are giving. Low is by default. High is going to give you a lot more information. If you do choose to turn it off, make sure that you're ready to really give those voice commands. Train voice recognition is where you teach the car how you speak. The voice recognition tutorials are where the car teaches you how to use the voice command system. You can adjust the guidance tone type. You can also turn off voice prompt interrupt. I recommend that you turn this off if you frequently have other people in the vehicle with you, because if you've given a voice command and you start to talk, it's going to interrupt its process to listen to whatever's being spoken because it actually thinks you're giving another command. So a lot of people like to turn that off. If you need to, you can come back to the factory default settings. Coming to the left to open Vehicle Setup. When you have your vehicle serviced at your Lexus dealer, they're going to keep track of all of the maintenance done on your Lexus. But if you would like to customize some of the reminders and notifications in your car, you can do that. You can also make sure that your dealership information is loaded into the system. Then when you're prompted to have service done, it can actually pop up the phone number that's listed and give you an opportunity to call your dealer. Pushing go back again. Vehicle customization. Most people really like the factory default settings for all of these customizations, but there are some popular things that people like to change. Let me point those out to you. So we won't go in detail over every single one of these items, but I'd like to point out some key things that you might want to consider changing on your Lexus. Automatic door unlock by shift to park. You may have experienced this already if this is how your Lexus is set up. This means you've gone for a drive, you come to a stop, you put your vehicle in park, and boom, all your doors are unlocked. I don't know about you, but I drive by myself a lot and I prefer the doors to stay locked. If I select the feature, Automatic Door Unlock, I can change it to by driver door, which would mean if I opened the driver's door, then the vehicle will unlock. My preference is actually to turn this off. So when I go into park, my vehicle stays locked, and then when I'm ready, I just pull on the door handle to open my door and only my door. Depending on the setup of your Lexus, if you have rear cabin passengers, if they pull on the door handle on their door and the child lock is not engaged, you still might need to hit the unlock button in your door handle to let your guests out of your vehicle. Just an extra tip. If you would like to change select doors to unlock, meaning using the Smart Access system, when you put your hand in the driver's door handle, which doors unlock? Do you want all the doors to unlock? Maybe you travel with passengers on a very regular basis. Or the factory default setting, for security reasons, the driver's door only is the door that is selected to unlock. Pushing go back. There are climate setting adjustments that you can make. There are light setting adjustments that you can make. In this particular menu, people like to consider changing how sensitive the auto headlights are. you can increase that sensitivity so that the headlights come on sooner when it starts to get dark outside. Convenience services can be turned off or on, and this can be a little bit of a confusing setting name. These are things like telling you that you've left your headlights on. When you turn the vehicle off and you shift into park and you start to get out of the car, you'll see a message that pops up on your multi-information display. There are not a lot of pop-ups like this, but most of them are incredibly convenient to have. I always recommend leaving those on. Other vehicle settings. This is where you may really want to customize your vehicle, especially if you have an LS. The LS has a highly customizable driver's seat. Depending on your height, you may want to change the seat slide, so the seat bottom cushion can have a full slide, partial, or off. Now, if you're really tall and you already have your seat pretty far back, even on full, it might not move anymore. So the seat track does limit how much it allows it to move. But if you're like me and you're not very tall, if you click partial, it's going to still move back for you to make it easier to get in and out of your LS. But once you get back in, it makes it easier to reach that brake pedal so that you can easily start up your car. Now, if you still prefer the full setting and you can't quite reach your brake pedal, just put your seatbelt on and you'll start to slide forward. Driver's seat easy exit lift. This is about lifting the seat bottom cushion. How much assistance do you want with the seat bottom cushion? A full lift, partial, or off? You can also adjust the steering column easy exit. Tilt only, telescope only, tilt and telescopic. So this means it's going to tuck up and away, and this is the preference for most Lexus drivers. Now let's come down. We have an arrow pointing down. That lets us know that we have another page. But remember I told you that not everything on the touchscreen is clickable? Watch this. Can't do it. You also can't swipe on the screen for a list like this, so we have to go back to our touchpad and just swipe our finger down, and now we can come to navigation. In navigation, we highly recommend that you set something close to home, not your exact house, for your go home shortcut. I recommend that you drive to the spot that you would like to save and then go through the process and click current location. Follow the prompts to save that spot. You can add favorites. If there's heavy construction in a particular area that's going to go on for a while, you could mark an area that you'd like to avoid. Coming to detailed Navi settings, there are quite a lot of items that you can turn off. They do come on by default, and I recommend that you experience them before you just shut things off. But if you've already experienced them and you just don't like it, go ahead and turn it off. We like you to have choices here at Lexus. You can turn off the auto hide buttons. You can turn off the low fuel warning pop-up, which does include the option to locate nearby gas stations. There are a lot of other items, but I'd like to point out, if you come to the second page where it says calibration, this is something that would be done for you at your dealership after having tires changed or rotated. So you typically don't need to come in to calibration. Something that you might want to experiment with turning off or leaving on: intersection zoom on the map, and then automatic zoom, allowing the map to zoom in for certain details and then automatically pull back out. The white arrows are clickable, or you can use your touchpad. Automatic freeway exit list. This frequently comes on by default, and People love this when they're traveling, but they don't love it very much if they do their regular daily commute on a freeway and it's constantly popping up information about amenities that are on every exit. So if that's the case for you, toggle that to off. You may want to choose one of 3 styles for your map color. Dynamic route is part of the dynamic navigation feature that you have a complimentary trial period for, and additional items that can be turned on or off or restore to the default settings. Coming back to Wi-Fi, if you're going to set up the Wi-Fi hotspot on your Lexus, make sure to check out the video that we have about setting up your Wi-Fi. You do have a complimentary trial period. The LS uses AT&T. You have 4 gigs or 3 months, whichever comes first. After the trial has expired or you've exceeded the maximum amount of data in your trial, you'll need to have a paid service from AT&T. You can customize the password. You can show the characters or hide the characters and click Change Password to change it to something that you prefer. Make sure to only share that password with passengers that you are okay using your hotspot because it will gobble up your data. And when you're not using your hotspot, you could choose to turn it off or it will cycle off for you automatically. Inform App Suite. This can get a little confusing because in previous years, Inform App Suite 2.0 was what was compatible with the LS. Now, all of that Inform App Suite information has actually been put into the Lexus app. So you don't have to download an additional app. You'll have all of the Inform App Suite 2.0 content right inside your Lexus app. And that's for things like Lexus plus Alexa. If you are using the app suite on your Lexus and you do use it on a regular basis, you may want to customize to not have the data usage message appear when you launch the app on a drive cycle. So you would just click Never Display. Just make sure that you do know that the app suite does use cellular data to operate. Coming to traffic setup, you can customize how much traffic information you get on your map as you drive. Coming to data services, and you can select whether or not you have the HD radio signal and the DCM signal to support your Inform App Suite traffic and weather information updates. HD and DCM are going to give you the strongest signal. And that's it for setup. In fact, that's everything in our main menu. Well, hopefully that answers all of the questions that you could possibly have on the 2021 LS. If it doesn't, make sure to leave a comment below and I'll be happy to get back to you. Don't forget to subscribe and then click that bell so that you can be notified the next time we release a tech tip video. Thank you all so much for stopping by the Lexus Virtual Classroom. We sure appreciate having you here. Take care and we'll see you next time.